What's up, basketball fans? Welcome into another episode of All Things NBA. I'm your host, as always, Jimmy Crowther, here with my co-host, Austin Payne. Austin, we've got legit basketball being played this week. Actual regular season NBA basketball. How you feeling?
Dude, I'm feeling good. A week from tomorrow night, I will be in the Paycom Arena watching the Thunder hang their banner and tip the season off against the Houston Rockets. So I am feeling great.
God, I'm so excited. I'm so ready for real basketball. Preseason's fun. It's a good little
Yeah.
appetizer, but I'm so ready for the real thing. Have some real takeaways. But early on, I mean, we're going into preseason. We already know some of the story, but some more storylines have kind of started to take shape, and we've started to see some things play out just a little bit. We're not taking a ton of things away yet from preseason because it's not over quite yet, but we're getting to that point. And so what we're going to hit on today, we're going to each have 2 points, 2 storylines we're watching in the early part of the season. Like, is it things that we can see right off the bat, these kind of things happening? And we talk about the Western Conference a lot on this show and on this channel, but Austin's got an Eastern Conference take, and I'm interested to see where you're going with this and what we might be watching for.
Yeah, absolutely. So really, I think we can all agree that the East, for the most part, is a bit of a power kind of vacuum. There's not much going on in the East with the injuries to the top 2 teams. So I'm curious just to see who steps up and takes the East by the throat. And so I've got here the odds to win the Eastern Conference. And you've got 4 teams that have anywhere from about plus 250 to about plus 900 odds. So in order, you have Cleveland, the Knicks, Orlando, and the Hawks. Probably teams that we all anticipate when it comes to winning the East. But I'm just really excited to see how the first few weeks go, because I actually think I'm higher on those last 2 options than I was even in the middle of the summer. And here's why. Cleveland and New York, while clearly are viewed as the front runners, and why, like, I think they should be the front runners as well in the East, but they are still teams that I would say really haven't proven anything. Cleveland has made it to the playoffs 2 years in a row and got bounced very early, much earlier than they should have, especially this past season. Cleveland's dealing with a lot of injuries to start the season. And so I'm very curious what that team looks like, and what happens if they're actually kind of in a dogfight for Eastern Conference standings. They jumped out to the first spot in the East so fast last year that they almost didn't even have to worry. I mean, they went on that like 10 or 12 game win streak to start the season, and they never looked back. I don't think that'll happen this year. I think even if they were healthy, they're probably not going to win that many regular season games again. And I don't think they're going to be healthy to start the year. So I don't know. I just think it could be interesting. I think a team like Orlando, with the addition of Desmond Bane specifically, is a tough matchup for Cleveland. If you remember, Cleveland went on that like 15, 16 game win streak kind of mid-season last year. They looked unstoppable, and then Orlando came into Cleveland and beat them just with their defense to stop the run. Now Orlando should have better shooting, and I think better shooting should make Banchero and Wagner better. So then I just wonder, okay, if they already had the defense to stop a good team like that, could they not just make a run all the way? So I'm intrigued there. And then you're going to laugh at me for this. I cannot help but look at the Eastern Conference and think, if Joel Embiid is healthy, they can just walk through the East. Like, there are not really many superstars left that are in contention in the East. So obviously Giannis is there. I'm not too worried about Milwaukee making a super deep run. Obviously Brunson's in New York, but I don't know if Philly's healthy, which I don't know if you've paid much attention, Jimmy, or you guys listening, but Joel Embiid participated in a scrimmage the other day that he was not expected to play in at all. It wasn't even a preseason game. Dude just went out,
Breaking
played.
news.
Dude,
Joel Embiid is playing basketball.
He's playing basketball,
He's doing it.
man. Full contact, played very well from what I heard. Now, again, I'm not expecting them to be healthy. I'm not picking them, but I just think, and I've said this before, I think people are underestimating and just forgetting how dominant of an offensive force Joel Embiid is when he's healthy. When he is healthy,
No,
that guy, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think Philly's really good. I think the team that you didn't mention that I'm higher on, unless I missed them, is Detroit.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
Detroit's
mentioned Detroit.
Detroit's right in between Philly and Atlanta in odds. So Detroit's 5th.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm super high on Detroit. I think Cade Cunningham took a leap last year and is going to take another leap this year. Obviously, it's some of my Oklahoma State bias talking, but I really think he just
Mhm.
showed so much, and he's in such a perfect position. I think I also really like what they added with Duncan Robinson, Karis LeVert being another playmaker on that team. It, Orlando, Detroit, Philly are definitely the three wild cards. The thing with Philly is also okay. Jared McCain's hurt; he was going to have to play a lot for them. Paul George is a who knows, and Joel Embiid is a who knows. But if Embiid and Paul George can get somewhat healthy, I mean, Paul George, remember in the NBA GM survey, which is always funny to look at in retrospect, Paul George was voted as the most significant impact like addition of the summer last year, and then he ended up just crashing and burning because he was hurt all the time. But I still believe Paul George can have maybe a couple more good years, and hopefully those are in Philadelphia. This Grimes situation is going to be really interesting to watch because he was so huge for them at the back half of last year. I don't really like their depth. I don't really love their spacing around Embiid. But I do think it's not as simple as it's New York and Cleveland. And
Yep.
it just is a huge question of who that actually is. So I do agree with you there. I think Cleveland, other question marks too, is like, I mean, Lonzo Ball early in preseason does not look good. He does not look 100%. They don't have another backup guard. Um, DeAndre Hunter looks really good, but like you said, Garland's out for a while. That's an injury they're dealing with.
Well, and
New York
DeAndre Hunter is, as much as I like him as a player, is also a pretty injury prone guy.
true. Yeah. I mean, it's part of the reason the Hawks sold so low on him.
Mhm.
So no, I'm with you. I think it's going to be more interesting to watch than we think. I'm very intrigued to watch Orlando. That's going to be a really fun league pass team. My money is still probably like if I'm putting money down on it, I'm putting Cleveland and New York still 1 and 2 in some
Yeah.
realm or in some form or fashion. But I agree with you. I don't think it's as simple as it's a walk off for those two.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be
Well,
easy.
and my,
So
my last thought on the East. So I think you have those 6 teams that I think, if healthy, again, could be in contention. So, but the other thought I have, which I think makes the East even more exciting, and honestly will just be fun to watch, is then you look at like 7 through 12, and all those teams are going to be vying for different spots in the Eastern Conference standing. Specifically, you look at a team like Chicago. I was already high on Modest Buzelis, but that dude has been hooping in preseason,
yeah.
and Giddy has played off him well. So now you're looking at a team like that. I think they'll just be fun to watch. They'll probably be exactly where they end up every year. But I just think with how wide open the East will be, it's going to make for more kind of exciting and fun games down the line, because I really only see here 3 teams that I would guarantee from this point will be teams that are like tanking. I think the rest of them will be trying to win, because I do think that the records are going to be somewhat close, which I think will just make for an exciting watch.
Who are your 3 tanking teams? Brooklyn, Washington. Who's the third?
Washington. So believe it, I still have Charlotte there. Um, I
Okay.
now I don't think they're actually going into the season right now thinking that they will be tanking, but I don't see much happening with Charlotte. Like the same issues that Lonzo Ball has always had, he still clearly has. He's taken like step back
LaMelo.
threes.
LaMelo Ball.
Or sorry, yeah, LaMelo. He's taken step back threes like 3 seconds into the shot clock with a hand in his face. Like I just don't think it's going to happen. I like some of the pieces that they brought in. I really do. I think Khan's really good, but I don't think they're going to be like guys that can move the needle as far as wins go that early. So I would assume that a few, maybe a month into the season, we start to realize Charlotte's probably going to be in the race for Debanza as well.
I didn't think we'd be talking about the East this much, but one other team that's at least interesting to watch is Toronto. Like they just have so many guys that you're like, okay, this guy would play. Like I think they have 6 guys that would play on regular playoffs rotation teams. Like you go Barrett, you go Ingram, Jakob Pertl, Emmanuel Quickly, Scotty Barnes, and I know I'm forgetting somebody in that mix. Whoever it is, it'll come to me eventually. But like those 5 guys right there alone, like none of them are guys you want your go-to guys as. Probably not many of them even want to be second options, but they are at least guys that like can hold their own against real NBA talent. So I think Toronto is going to be a fun team to watch. Their depth isn't very good, and I don't really know what direction they're going in, but again, another team that at least adds a layer of competitiveness to the Eastern Conference that I don't think we were expecting. If you're good on the East, I got a new storyline I'm watching. So we'll go
I'm good.
West because I think we just talked about possibly every Eastern team you could talk about. Maybe we missed Brooklyn, who's probably the least interesting team. But in the West, a team that I've had my eye on in this preseason a little bit, not intentionally, not like I like seek out watching League Pass games, is the Phoenix Suns. And the thing I'm noticing with the Phoenix Suns is that there is actual chemistry within that organization all of a sudden. I think all of a sudden Kevin Durant's gone, Bradley Beal walks out, and they're kind of looking around at each other and they're like, guys, nobody believes in us. One of the best players in the world was openly wants to leave. Nobody really believes that Devin Booker is who he once was, which I think is kind of crazy. They don't really have a guard, so they have a lot to prove, but Jalen Green is actually looking good. But this is a team, and then you look at Dylan Brooks, oddly enough, one of the best glue guys all of a sudden in the NBA, like holding all this together. I'm going to be watching very closely early on how competitive they are in games, because if they're competitive enough, they have some pieces on the bench they could string together, maybe go trade for a guard out there and kind of complete this starting five, especially if Kama Malawach is like a NBA ready center from the jump. And if he's not, guess what? Mark Williams is still there. If they're competitive, this is a team that I'm watching at the bottom of the Western Conference playoff race. I'm not saying they're going to be pushing for a home court advantage spot. And honestly, I'm not a big Suns fan in general, but just looking at this team and the chemistry that is clearly there, I think we might be overlooking Phoenix just a little bit. Am I a little crazy?
I don't know if you're crazy. I feel like I have a pretty good pulse on a lot of teams in the NBA. Not saying I know what's going to happen with them, but I just don't even know what to think with the Suns. Because, like you mentioned, I don't think Malawach is going to be ready to play immediately. I think they'll play him because they should. I think his upside is unbelievable. I do not think he's an NBA ready center. That leaves you with Mark Williams, who I actually, again, do think when healthy, he's an okay player. He's never healthy. So that worries me a bit. Again, if you're talking developmentally, it's great. Like, I think giving Malawach all the minutes that you can is a good thing. I just don't know what to do with them. Like, I do think they'll be more competitive defensively. And I think you're right. I think Dylan Brooks brings some intangible to a team that I just never thought Dylan Brooks would bring. And it's honestly kind of annoying because I don't even really like Dylan Brooks. But yeah, I'm also with you, Devin Booker. I do think that we'll see him take a little bit of a step back to the kind of player that he was. Like, I think when Beal came in and when Durant came in, I think it messed up Devin Booker. Like, I think he didn't exactly know what his role on the Phoenix Suns was anymore. Like, he was no longer the guy. So I think he'll take kind of a step back into prominence, but I just don't know what to expect. And for that reason, because of how deep the West is, I think I disagree with you. Like, maybe they make the play in. Are you saying they win through the play in, or that they're like a top 6
Yeah.
seed?
When I say bottom of the playoff race,
Yeah.
I still think of
Yeah.
6, 7, 8 as the bottom.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at 7, 8 for them at ceiling. Like, that's ceiling for the Suns. I'm not saying maybe 6, but
there's a world.
definitely going to be.
I don't think that's super crazy. Like, I'm not sure that I would have gotten to that myself, but if you are talking the 8th seed in the West, I do think with a guy like Devin Booker and with some pieces that are going to really contribute defensively, maybe it is too much to say that they're incapable at their best of making it that far. Because like you said, they've got pieces I like. I still like Grayson Allen. He's going to be a guy that comes off the bench for them, give them a little spark. Yep. So it'll be interesting. They are a team I have paid literally zero attention to. And so I don't really know. Yeah. They'll be kind of fun to watch just because I really don't know what this team's going to look like. But I don't know. It's an interesting take.
I think my last piece on the Suns too is like, okay, the reason I'm also going to be watching them closely is not only like if they end up doing well, if they end up doing poorly enough, you sell off Grayson Allen, you sell off Royce O'Neal, you sell off Nick Richards, who's a veteran center that some people would love as a backup. You sell off even Mark Williams. You let Devin Booker basically say, okay, Book, you take the season off. We're going to go get a top draft pick and retool a little bit. And it could be interesting to watch. Or Booker's like, dude, screw this. I'm out. Like, I've been through too much with the Suns at this point. Like, I stuck through it all, and you guys can't put a team around me. Because Ishbia is not really off to a hot start in his front office tenure. It's basically like, hey, bring me all my Michigan State buddies. And so it'll be interesting to watch. So I don't know. That's my Phoenix Suns thought, but you go with
I
your
love it.
thought number two
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep us in the West and kind of think that the biggest stories as far as the NBA goes, like that there are a million stories that are going to be worth telling this season, but the biggest ones are going to wind up being the ones from contending teams. And so that kind of drew my eyes to the Rockets. I've been looking at Houston for a while, mainly because I hate them and also because we're about to play them opening night. So I've been paying attention and also, the second the Fred VanVleet injury happened, I feel like that roster all of a sudden got kind of weak in some spots. So my kind of thing that I am looking at, my storyline with Houston that I want to see early in the season is what playmaking looks like for them on offense. My uninformed perspective on Houston was when VanVleet went down, my thought initially went to Reed Shepherd. Now, the more I have listened to Houston Rockets people talk and the more I've even seen how they're practicing and the way that they're playing in the preseason, I don't think that's the direction that they're going to start. I think they're going to go with Amen Thompson at the point guard and roll out just a mega lineup. Now, there are things about that lineup that will be incredible. Kevin Durant is not the defender that he used to be, but he is still 7 feet tall and can kind of move. So you are going to have, I think, in their starting lineup, 3 guys that are just about 7 feet, Jabari Smith and Amen Thompson. Crazy. Now, the immediate question, though, to me is, can that team score? Because Amen Thompson, I think you and I talked about this in our podcast with Rylan Stiles a few weeks ago. I'm less convinced that Amen Thompson right now can come in and play make to the level that they're going to need him to be. I think he's an incredible player. I think his scoring is going to be better. I don't know if he can play make the level that they want. Like, I don't know if they can be a championship level, if he can be a championship level ball handler and distributor at the point guard position. I do think Şengün can play make from the post, but I don't know. I think it's going to be very interesting to watch, and I think we'll find out within just a few games. Like, is this going to work? Can they score? Have they figured it out?
I mean, for reference, leading assist guy in both games, their first 2 preseason games, was Alperen Şengün. Şengün in the first preseason game had 6 assists. The next highest guy was J.D. Davison off the bench with 4 assists. Obviously, Şengün, he only played 17 minutes in that game.
Right.
The second preseason game, the Rockets blow out the Jazz 140-127. The starters played a few more. Like, Şengün played 28 minutes, 13 assists. So I think, and again, I didn't watch these games, but I think Şengün is going to be, and there was a big hubbub about it on Mavs Twitter about Davis playing the Domantas Sabonis role and basically being a hub of offense, which hasn't really happened yet for the Mavs in preseason, ironically enough. I think that's what's going to happen with Şengün is it's not just from the low post. Like, they're not just going to dump it down to him, expect him to find a guy, throw a little over the shoulder pass like he can do. I think it's to get it to him at the elbow, and he just, maybe it's slow and he's just like stands there like this and waits for somebody to cut and hits him. I think it's going to be a lot of that from Şengün, and it can work. I mean, Denver's done it now with Jokic. All the time. I'm not saying he's Jokic, but like, he's the closest thing to it. So I'm with you on Thompson. Like, I love Amen Thompson. I'm definitely high on him. I mean, he had 6 assists in the last game, looked really good. But you still are going to have to get something from Reed Shepherd, who hasn't looked bad in the preseason. You're going to have to get something from Aaron Holiday off the bench, and you're going to have to get something from even Kevin Durant at a playmaking level, which is a little scary to lean on at this point in his career.
Which, that's why I think it's such a good storyline, because if Amen Thompson goes out there and proves you and I wrong, we are looking at a superstar. If he can remain as active defensively as he can, continue to grow in his scoring like we saw him do throughout the year last year, and then all of a sudden he can play make, that is a guy that will be invaluable to that team. So I just think it's going to be exciting to watch. I have a feeling that I know which way it's going to go. I think that offense is going to be clunky. I think that their defense is going to make up for it and that they'll still win a lot of games. But if I'm wrong and Amen Thompson looks that good, that is all of a sudden a team that you do have to really look out for when the playoffs roll around. And it's maybe not just a 2-horse race of OKC and Denver.
Yeah, I think any team with Kevin Durant, you got to watch out for in the
Yep.
playoffs. But I think the other team, another team in the West that everybody's looking out for at this point is San Antonio because Wemby looks like the freak that he is. He's put on some muscle. He's trained with Monks and Hakeem Olajuwon. So I don't know what you're doing with Monks in basketball, but apparently it's doing something for him. The thing that I'm watching with the Spurs from night one when they play against the Dallas Mavericks is how good Dylan Harper is because Dylan Harper in his first game looked like he belonged, looked like he was the guy that should be Wemby's running mate for a long time. They are playing as we're recording this, and he's coming off the bench. 19 minutes so far, 11 points, 8 assists, 2 steals. Again,
Golly.
just like looks like a dude. I mean, would have been number one pick probably in most other drafts that Cooper Flag wasn't a part of. And so my thought process here, and the thing I'm watching for how good Dylan Harper is like because De'Aaron Fox, by the way, De'Aaron Fox is going to be out for a little bit, like not a long time, but a little bit with an injury to start the season. So Harper's going to get a chance to shine. If Harper is as good as I think he will be, I don't think it would be smart of the San Antonio Spurs to hold on to De'Aaron Fox, to hold on to Harrison Barnes, to hold on to those veteran guys, especially Fox. I think you ship Fox out. You get more you get more picks. Maybe you get one young player back. I don't really care what active players you get back for Fox. You go get more draft picks and you say Harper, Wemby, exact same timeline. We're building around these two. You guys have the free reign to do whatever you want. De'Aaron Fox is De'Aaron Fox. I don't think he's getting any better at this point in his career. We know what he is. He's a great player. He would be amazing on a lot of teams that are ready to contend. I think San Antonio right now probably could sneak into the top 5 in the West if they're amazing. That's very high ceiling for them. I still think they're a play-in team in the West.
Yep.
But I think you just say, you know what, we'll take one more year of maybe we sneak into the play-in, maybe we're just a lottery team, and we just let Harper and Wemby run it for the next 5 to 10 years in the Western Conference.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. I think part of it is because of how I just saw Sam Presti build the Thunder. Shea obviously is a few years older, but still a young star. A young team just won the title, and they have some of the best young talent in the league. Like, I think it's crazy that we can talk about Victor Wembanyama, we can talk about Dylan Harper, and we just forget that Carter Bryant looks unreal. Like, I think that Carter Bryant is definitely limited right now offensively, but like that's a guy that is going to play. His size is amazing. His defense is incredible. I'm super high on him. So you've got 3 guys. Now, definitely one is projecting to be just a high-level role player, but still you need those on a championship team. You have 3 guys on the exact same timeline, and 2 of them could be superstars. So I'm all for moving off Fox. I think they should do it fast. It's kind of the same way, Jimmy, I know I've mentioned this to you before. It's kind of the same way I feel about like AD in Dallas. Now it's different, obviously, because you got kind of one main guy in Cooper Flag, and you've still got Kyrie, who's also kind of on the older timeline. So I get that it's different. But when I see talent as good as Cooper Flag and as good as Wembanyama and Dylan Harper, that young, knowing that you have guys you could move to help build around them in the future, I think you have to do it. Like, I think if you're the Spurs, you have to consolidate timelines. You are not trying to win now with a young Victor Wembanyama just being like a good piece as he develops. No, you are all in on winning multiple times when Victor Wembanyama is 2 to 3 years from now and he's the best player in the NBA. That's what you should be doing. So I think that's a great take and something I'm very, very intrigued to see what they do with.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm interested to at least give Fox and Wemby a chance, like see what happens because Wemby's that good that like you're not really. I wouldn't say like I think Dallas is on the 2 timelines approach. They are on
Sure.
they have 2 times. They have Cooper Flag and I'll put Derek Lively like that's the young timeline.
Yep.
They have Anthony Davis and Kyrie. Those are 2 very different timelines. Spurs are on this like Fox isn't good enough. He's not a Kyrie or an AD.
Right.
But Wemby is better than Wemby's better than Flag. Harper
And
is
Lively, yeah.
right next to Flag. I mean,
Yep.
and yeah, Harper's better than Lively for sure. So yeah, I do think it's very different. I think it's going to be very intriguing to watch. I'm very curious. I don't have my finger on the pulse of the San Antonio Spurs fan base. Like, are
Yeah.
they? I don't know. Like, do they want to see Fox play? Do they really even care at this point? Like, I'm sure they do. I'm sure people have bought in and they gave up.
Yeah.
Actually, I can't even think of what did they give up for Fox. I can't even. I can't even think of it right now. Off the
I
top of my
think
head.
I might be wrong. I think they gave up 2 firsts.
Okay. Yeah, and okay,
So
Zach LaVine went to Sacramento. I forgot about that.
yes. Yeah, it was that 3-team deal.
Yeah, they gave
But
up their 27 first and they gave up their 25 first but that didn't convey. I don't know. It's the whole draft thing is so confusing. But yeah, I mean they didn't really give up all that much.
It's weird. I think that my thought is with this process, like you said, yeah, De'Aaron Fox is not either of the guys, the older stars that you have on the Mavericks, but I just don't think he's that useful of a piece right now because I don't think you can play a whole lot of Harper and Fox at the same time. And if you do, I think they like Dylan Harper is going to be the guy playing point guard for De'Aaron Fox or for Victor Wembanyama. So like I just feel like you should go all in now, give those two some experience, and then maybe by the time we're 3 years from now, Wemby is at an unbelievable level, and Carter Bryant and all these other guys have had a year or two to kind of adjust to the league. They're not in their prime yet, but Wemby's good enough to carry them. I just am all about value, and I think De'Aaron Fox's value is not going to go up regardless of how good he plays. He's getting older. He is what he is. Like you said, he's not going to really gain anything in his game this year or in the coming years. So I would move off him while you still can. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm very excited for this year for the Spurs. I'm just ready for them to be in the playoffs because for the next 10 years, they're going to be there. So let's get them in. Like, I want to see it. I want the Thunder Spurs battle. I want the Mavs Spurs battle. I want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, my count, if I'm going to decide, if I'm going to play devil's advocate of my own point here, I will say the thing that could make sense is, and again, the Mavs thought process here, Luka and 2 ball handlers, one of them bigger, one of them, could play off ball really well, and Kyrie. If Fox can play off ball well enough, and Harper, you can let Harper run the show and be the full-time playmaker, maybe I can see a world where that works out. Fox is 27. It's not like he's in his 30s yet, so he's still young enough. But I mean, Harper's 19, so which is crazy. So I don't know. I guess you have to give it a chance, especially if you're the Spurs. Like you can't do a half season of Fox and just be like, I'm done. Like I guess you got to give it a shot, unless
especially
Harper
with
out there dropping 15 dimes.
Yeah, I mean, with the extension you gave Fox, you have to play him because the contract that they just gave De'Aaron Fox at first glance does not look extremely tradable to me. What makes it more tradable is if he goes out there beside Wemby and plays extremely well. So yes, you have to play him this year, but it'll really just be interesting, kind of like you said, to see what they do down the line.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. We got a lot of fun storylines. Those were just like specific things. Obviously, there's much bigger storylines than that in the NBA, but all fun stuff to talk through. Man, basketball is here. We appreciate everybody that has subscribed. We've almost hit 150 subscribers. It feels like overnight, which is really exciting. So thank you guys. Make sure you're hitting us up in the comments, liking these videos. Follow us on Twitter. Austin, tell them where they can follow you.
Yeah, you've got my Twitter handle right there. So at all things OKC, you can find me in the same place on TikTok. But yeah, guys, be following. Everything's picking up. NBA Twitter's been picking up, which has been fun. Everything's starting back up. Jimmy and I are going to continue to have some fun guests on this channel as well. If you guys haven't checked out some of the earlier podcasts we did last week, definitely go watch those. But thank you guys for the support. Looking forward to the season.
Yeah, give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.